Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Learn in a Nutshell. So in the last video, we saw how to get customers, all the customer results based on params. Uh, so so we basically passed all these params, different kinds of params, limit, offset, where, sort, expand, and try to bring the result. So if you have not watched that, you can watch my previous video for that. So I'll just continue with the same series where I'll be working on customers to to show you all the CRUD operations. So when I say CRUD, it's create, update, and delete operation for customer endpoint. So what we'll be doing in this video is we'll be creating a customer, then we will try to get that customer by ID, and then we will there is no function returned by default here, but there will be one more function which will be adding to update the customer. So we'll try to update some field over here. So we'll try to do that, and at last we will also see how to get customer by key. We have already shown this in the earlier video, but I'll try to show it again. So starting with we'll do the create customer. So we'll just so starting with we'll create the customer, and then using that customer's ID we'll get the customer ID. So let's uncomment this, and let's uncomment this as well. So this is uncommented. Let's go to get create customer. So it's in customers.js file. So here there is something called as create customer. We need to build this. So building is super easy. As you have seen the previous video as well, you have to first type API root, which is coming from client.js. You can watch my earlier videos for this. And in API root, we'll have to pass with project key. And inside this, we'll have to pass project key itself. Now let's pass the endpoint. So it's customers endpoint. So if you have doubts, then you can check. So create customer, what is the endpoint like? So first host, that is API root, then the project key, then customers. So it's a method. So we have put open close bracket. Next we'll have to do is a post request. So as it's a post, we'll have to pass a post request. And inside post, you can press Control Shift and see what are the accepted parameters. You can pass body, and inside body we cannot directly pass create customer data. Though it's create customer data, this won't be, the country code won't be accepted directly. So it country code comes inside address array. So for this, you can go to customers, doc file in Commercetools in under customers. You should see this under customers. If you see customer drafts, there is something called as addresses. Under address draft, there is something called as country, where we need to pass this. If you see addresses, then that is array of address. So it should be in a square bracket. So something like this will be the accepted JSON. So you can do that directly. In this file itself. You can, instead of country code, you can directly pass this, and directly pass it in this particular body like this. So that will also work, but I'll not do that. Let's go in the way like how they have provided, and then we'll go and call create customer draft and pass the customer data. So when we pass this, it will be calling this particular function, that is create customer draft. Under this, what we'll do is we'll create const. Under const, we'll extract the data. So customer data. So let's see what are the things available here. So first is first name. First name will be extracted, then last name will be extracted, then email will be extracted, then after email password will be extracted, then let's extract the key, and then the country code itself. So we have extracted the file successfully. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to return this in a proper format which is accepted by Commercetools. So let's return it like this. Up to here it's proper. It should be has it's coming from from that method, from this customer data. But for country code we'll have to put that in addresses. So if you see here, you'll have to put it in this way. So if you want, you can copy this as well and put it here. Instead of DE, we'll have to pass country code. In this way, a JSON will be created from that data passed inside this. So let's see if this works. So customer draft we have created. Then let's execute this. So as you have not put it inside the curly braces, we can directly assign it to create customer. If you are putting it in curly braces, then you'll have to add return as well. So first thing, let's give here learn in a nutshell, and let's give the email as learn in a nutshell at test.com. Let's keep the password same, key has same. I guess there is already this key. Let's give 1234. Let's keep the country code same and see if this works. Let's comment this one. Now let's run this. Let's see what is the script for customers. You can go to package.json and see for customers it is 2. And we can go back to that file and just run yarn2. So it should create learn in a nutshell with email lian at test.com. Let's see if this works. So it's working. It says congratulations. So a customer has been created. Now what we'll do, we'll just copy this. So copied it. Now let's comment this. Create customer is not required. Let's uncomment get customer by ID. And let's see if this particular customer, it is returned back with the help of this ID. So for that, we need to build this get customer by ID. So it's not built here. So you can put it within this curly braces and call it. So you'll have to type return API root, then with project key. We'll have to pass the project key itself. Then we'll have to pass the endpoint, which endpoint it is. So if you have doubts, you can go here and check for get customer by ID. What is the endpoint like? First is host, that is API root, then the project key, then customer, then we'll have to pass the customer ID as well. So customers we have called, but it's a method, so we'll have to put open close bracket. We should never forget that. Then we'll have to pass with ID. I've already shown this in the previous videos. You can check that if you have doubts. In with ID, we'll have to pass the ID which is coming inside this. This parameter. We'll have to pass it here. Then it's a get request. You can check what type of request it is. It's a get request, and we'll have to call get, and then finally execute it this way. So this will also work with the help of return. So let's see if this works. So only get customer by ID we are calling. So let's see if this works. So we are getting that same customer details here. So this also works. Now what we'll do next is we'll update a particular field. Maybe we can update something like we'll just update the email and see if that works. So for that, that's the reason I've created get customer by ID. You'll know why I've done this very soon. For now, let's comment this and let's clone this one. Let's clone this one first. For cloning, you can use Alt, Shift, and down button. After selecting this, select this first, Alt, Shift, down. It'll get cloned. So it should be customer draft data. Customer, we'll just name it as customer draft. Email update data, something. I know it's longer, but so it's for better understanding, we'll just write email update here. So, and we'll just pass email, not pass anything else. As of now, we'll be just updating the email. Let's give lin2@gmail.com, just to identify that the results are different. We'll just give gmail.com. And this is a customer draft email update data. We have named it as specifically for email update. So next thing what we'll have to do is we'll just clone this one also and uncomment this and give create customer, or we'll just give update customer email. It's more meaningful. And we'll pass this one. So before that, let's see what is the conditions for updating. There are different updates available here. Update customer by ID. So this is how you update. You'll have to pass the ID here, and it's a post request, and you'll have to pass this in the body section of the post. But we are updating the email, so we can in under customer there is a update action folder. Go inside that and just check for change email. Ideally we should not be changing email directly without verification. We are not supposed to change it. Once the verification is done, then we are supposed to change. So that's based on the design. It works. So we'll directly change it now. So this is how the format will be. So we have to pass the version, actions. Under action we'll have to pass change email and then the email itself. So let's do that. Let's go to customers. Let's copy this update customer email function, and there should be something called as create customer. We'll just clone this one. Press Shift Alt down to clone that, and instead of create customer we'll pass update customer email and customer data. Let's keep it this way. And next thing what you have to do is we'll remove this so that we can do it from scratch and for better understanding. So what I'll do is first thing first, we'll have to call because it requires the current version. So we don't know the version, right? What is the current version? Automatically it doesn't get while getting updated. So we'll have to get the version first and then pass it to the body for updating. So if you see here in task, we did get customer by ID, and here you see the version as 1. So we are supposed to pass 1 here. So we'll just do that dynamically. pass the version so that for the future update it works. So what we'll do that in that case is first we'll call this dot get customer by ID. In that case we'll have to pass the ID as well. So along with the update customer email, let's pass customers ID for which customer we need to update. So without that details it will not work. So and we'll add it here also, ID, and then here we will get customer by ID and pass the ID itself. So ID is passed. Then we will capture the data in the parameter. We'll give the name as customer. So customer is sufficient because customer data if you gave it's already called here, so let's not confuse. Let's give the response name as customer, and we'll create an arrow function and do this way. If there is some error, we'll catch that error and log that. So for logging you need that log. It's not available here, so we'll copy from here. We need this logger.js or else there will be an error later on. So we are logging the error as well. Next what you have to do is once the response comes back from get customer by ID, what we'll do is we'll do the normal thing what we do, API root dot we'll have to return this because it's inside a function. So write a return API root dot with project key, pass the project key itself. Then we'll have to pass the endpoint, so it's the customer's endpoint. So press enter. It's a method, so open close bracket. So if you have doubts you can again go here and check what is it like. So we have to pass the ID as well, so we'll have to do with ID and pass the ID from this parameter, and then it's a post request. So post open bracket, pass the body as well. You can press Ctrl Shift and C, the parameters body, and let's again create this body as well. For that what we'll do, we'll create one function here, const arrow function, update customer, okay, create customer draft, create customer email update draft. So just to make it more meaningful I'm just giving this name, and you can accept the customer data and also the original customer data which will be coming from this. We need to pass that as well, so we'll accept that as well. Once that has been received, we'll write arrow open curly braces close curly braces. Let's extract that email. So email from customer data. Next return that in a in a JSON format which Commercetools accepts. So for that you can copy it from here. If you don't have the postman collection, you can check my earlier videos on how to import that and use it. So here we'll have to pass the version. So version will be coming from this customer data. So we'll have to do customer dot body dot ID because this will be inside body, and then there will be the version. Sorry, I have to pass the version here. So version. So, and here we'll have to pass the email itself. So there's no semicolon. So this is also done. It's returned back. So we'll have to call it here. Create customer email update data and pass the customer data. What is being coming from here? This one, and then we'll have to pass the customer response which we are getting after calling this function get customer by id. So all these details will be coming back. So customer details will be passed here. If you want, you can directly pass the version, but let me pass customer. It's just fine, and let's execute. Hopefully this should work. Let's check. If it was like this, then we'll have to pass return here, but we are not using the curly braces. We are directly assigning it to update customer email, so we can directly call it. Next thing what you can do is you can go to our task. So everything else is commented. We'll check if this works. So there is one error. It says logger.js cannot find. Okay, so it's in the root actually. So we are inside hands-on. So we'll have to put double dots, and maybe you can press Ctrl Shift and see if it's correct and pass the extension JS. Now let's see if this works. Now it says update customer email is not defined. Correct. We have not defined it. Update customer email has to be explicitly defined if it is not assigned to a variable. So now let's check if there is any more error. So there is no more error. It has successfully updated the email. So we had passed linan2@gmail.com, and now the version will be 2. Now if I give lin3, then also it will get updated because we are dynamically picking the version. So for that you can just console it and see how the response is coming inside this create customer email update draft. So let's console dot log of customer. So it's inside body, so we'll just see if it's correct. It should be correct. So this is the response. We'll avoid that. So inside body we are getting the version. Now the version is 3. So that is also working. So in this way you can create a single function as well to update multiple fields, or individual functions to update each field. So that way also you can do, and that's how you update the customer email. Now let's see how to get customer by key. So we have created this key. Let's see if this works. So for that we'll pass 1 2 3 4. Let's implement this function. So again same thing, API root dot with project key. Let's pass the project key. Then let's pass the endpoint customers open close bracket. Then we'll pass the key. So if you type with, you should see with key, and inside this you should see what are the accepted parameters. So we'll have to pass key and then pass the actual key from the parameter, because that's how it accepts in the postman collection also. If you see here, get customer by key, it is like key is equal to. So this way we have to use the same way to get the results. So let's execute this and see. if this works. So hopefully it should work. We have commented everything else so that there is no unnecessary update or create. So we'll just get customer by key, see if this works. There is one error, execute is not a function, it says. Okay, let's see why. Okay, we have not given the the method type. It should be get. So now it should work hopefully. So it's working, it's getting one result. So it is test 1 2 3 4. So when there is one result, there will not be that limit, all those things like how we see it. I'll just show that. So if there is only one result, if you're getting by ID or key, there will be the direct results will be will be in the response. On the other side, if you do it this way, get all the results, then it will display what is the total amount of. So it will it will respond back like this with limit, offset, count, total, and then the results itself. In that, all the results will be available. So yes, so that's how we do the create and update. And finally the remaining one is delete, which is not available here also. So we'll try delete as well. So for that, what we'll do is we'll copy this. So we will write delete customer. Let's follow the standards, and let's see what is the accepted way to delete, the proper way to delete a particular customer. So it says we'll have to call the customer endpoint, then customer ID, then also we'll have to pass version has a parameter. So let's try that. The other way is by key. In this case also we'll have to pass the version and key as well. So what we'll do, we'll delete by customer by ID. So there is no other way to delete, either by customer by ID and or customer by key. So let's try both way. Delete customer by ID, and let's pass the ID itself. So just now whatever customer we created, let's try to delete that. So we'll pass it here. There is no function in the top also. We'll pass that function name explicitly. And let's comment this to get all the results. It's not required. Let's go to customer and try to delete a customer. So it is module dot exports dot delete customer by ID is equal to, and we will just write ID here, add a function here. Now as we have to pass the version also, we'll have to make it dynamic. So we'll use the same method. First we'll get the customer by ID, this dot get customer by ID. If so, then respond. So in response we'll store it in a customer variable. If there is error, we'll catch that and log it. So if the response comes back, then what we'll do is, as this is inside a function, we'll have to write return and write API root. Then with project key, pass the project key itself. Then we'll have to pass the endpoint. It is the customer's endpoint, open close bracket. Then we'll have to pass the customer ID, and then the version. So what you have to do, with ID and pass, we don't have to do all these things, can directly pass ID, and then we'll have to do a delete request. It's not get or post, it should be delete request. Inside delete request, we'll see what are the accepted parameters, query args, and in this we'll have to pass version is equal to customer dot body dot version. So in this way it will be dynamic. So let's see if this works. Hopefully it should work. Let's see if this works. So we have declared delete customer by ID. Let's clear everything by typing by clicking Control L in the keyboard. Now let's try yarn 2. So hopefully it got deleted. Let's check and see if this particular customer is available. Get customer by ID. Let's try to pass this. You can pass it here or you can pass it in the environment as well. For better understanding, I'll do that in the environment. There should be something called as customer ID. We'll put it here. Save it. Now go back to our collections and there should be delete customer by ID. Click on that. And it's expecting a version also. So sorry, we are trying to query that, so no need of all those things. So let's see if there is a result. It's still there. Okay, it's not deleted. There is no error also. So the thing is, I had forgot to add execute here, so that's the reason it didn't work. I missed execute. So what we'll do, I actually deleted that existing customer. So what we'll do, we'll try for a different customer. For that, let's get one customer first. So we'll take this is the earlier customer which I created. Let's delete this customer. This customer has a key called test123. Let's try for that. If it's successful, it should return back the whole body. So let's see. Delete customer. Yes, so now it has deleted the customer, this particular customer. Now again let's try to delete the same one. It should say it's not available or some error. Yeah, was not found. So that's how we do a CRUD operation, for customer. You can try for any other points, or even for customers you can try, and you can, if you have any doubts, you can post in the comment section. Also let me know if you have any feedback which you need to provide in the comment section. If you like the video, hit the like button, guys. Also share with your friends who are also learning Commercetools. Let's catch again in the next video, and please don't forget to subscribe. That means a lot. Thank you so much. We'll catch you again in the next video. Bye.